The Owlbear, half owl, half bear, and one of Dungeons & Dragons' most famous monsters, terrifying, fascinating, and sometimes ridiculous. Today we're going to look at everything, its lore, ecology, appearance, through the editions, and the little known facts that make this creature more than just feathers and claws.
Same way I know the difference between an owlbear and a bugbear.
Origins and lore. The Owlbear first appeared in 1975's Grey Hawk supplement. Its origin, a plastic toy from Japan. Gary Gygax looked at it and thought it was a perfect monster and gave it life on the tabletop. Unlike griffins or manticores, the owlbear isn't rooted in old myths, it's true D&D original. Still, it fits comfortably in the tradition of hybrid beasts. Owls symbolize wisdom and death in folklore, and bears represent raw physical power. Put them together and you have a monster that feels like it should belong in the forest of fantasy, even if it started life as a piece of cheap plastic. Appearance. Owlbears have changed dramatically in appearance over the decades. The early artwork in the 70s and 80s made them almost comical, feathered bears with really wide eyes. Later editions, they were reimagined them as hulking predators, massive beaks, sharp talons, thick fur, and piercing owl eyes. Their scream is described as chilling, somewhere between an owl's screech and a bear's roar. It's said to stop adventurers in their tracks before the claws even strike. In minis and art, owlbears are constantly resculpted. Early miniatures almost look silly, more like mutant chickens. Modern sculpts show them as terrifying apex predators, all muscle, feathers, and rage. Ecology and behavior. Owlbears are aggressive, territorial, and incredibly stubborn. They live in dense forests, caves, and ruins where they hunt relentlessly. They attack almost anything on sight and are rarely scared off. They're usually solitary, but pairs will raise cubs together. These cubs, they're called owlets. They're highly valuable. Poachers and adventurers have tried to capture them, often with disastrous results when the parents arrive. Attempts to domesticate to ride owlbears are legendary failures. They are too violent, too unpredictable, and too strong. Over time, several variants have appeared. Winter owlbears, adopted to snowy tundras, or albino cave owlbears, hunting the Underdark. Dire owlbears, bigger and more feral, and in rare cases, even half-dragon owlbears in more exotic settings. Stats through the editions. The owlbears' mechanics have shifted across every edition of D&D. From Greyhawk 1975, you had a 5+2 hit dice, claws was a 1 to 8 damage, fast enough to run down adventurers. Then you had an Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 1st edition, introduced the infamous hug attack. If both claws hit, the target was grappled and pecked at. 2nd edition added the idea that owlbears might be the result of magical experiments. 3rd edition formalized the hug attack into an improved grab, with a clear grapple mechanics. 5th edition came around with challenge rating of 3, 59 hit points, AC 13, 40 foot speed, and a brutal multi-attack. 2 claws at 2d8+5 each, and a beak that did 1d10+5. With a +3 perception, sneaking past them is rarely an option. Alignment shifted too. Early editions leaned towards chaotic neutral. In 5e, they're treated as simply as beasts, creatures of instinct rather than morality. D&D tips and encounters. Owlbears make fantastic ambush predators. Place them in forests at night, in narrow mountain passes, or in pitch dark ruins. Their speed and damage output make them frightening, especially against lower level parties. Encounters don't always need to be mindless brawls. Some ideas include maybe a village that's plagued by an owlbear raiding livestock, poachers hiring the party to capture a cub alive, a wizard's experiment creating owlbear hybrids. For extra tension, use moral dilemmas. Will the party kill the cubs to survive, try to raise one themselves, or let the beast live and risk another ambush later? These choices make the owlbear more than just another monster, they make it a story. Pop culture and legacy. From its humble toy store beginnings, the Owlbear has become one of D&D's mascots. It's appeared in classic modules like Keep on the Borderlands or Against the Giants. It showed up in novels, countless miniatures, and video games like Neverwinter Nights, Icewind Dale, and Baldur's Gate 3. Most recently, it starred in a movie, Dungeons & Dragons Among Thieves, where Drew transformed into one during battle. That single scene introduced owlbears to a much wider audience, cementing their place in pop culture. Things you may not know. The owlbear is one of the earliest monsters created for D&D that wasn't based on real-world myth. Their scream was one of the first monster sound effects ever described in D&D text. Owlets are worth fortunes in many settings, leading to whole black markets built around them. Despite being iconic, the owlbear's exact origin story in-world is still debated. Natural beast? Is it a magical experiment or something stranger? They're amongst the most produced D&D miniatures ever made. The Owlbear is much more than just a monster. It's a symbol of what makes Dungeons & Dragons unique, an odd idea that became iconic, growing from a plastic toy into a creature that's feared, loved, and endlessly reimagined. Whether you encounter one in a dark forest or see it charging across a battlefield, one thing is certain: the Owlbear is unforgettable.